brands have such a power today.
You occupied the position I never heard existed in any other company, the director of luxury and creativity.
I don't want to be a collector. I want to be the part of shaping culture. I really believe that in today's reality, a high quality aspirational brand absolutely have to become a cultural agent.
Can you give an particular example?
Some of the best exhibitions now happening in Paris, they happen in Fondation Louis Vuitton. Video of BMW's 50 years of art engagement. When you look at that, you're like, wow. And then of course, like Prada and brands who engage with the world of art, they making the world better. Some of the best people, best marketers, best entrepreneurs that I met in my life, they're actually not because they graduated from top business schools or whatever, but because they had
Look, I want to start with a quick intro. Your professional career path started like a regular INSEADer. You were a strategy consultant, but then something happened, something very unusual, very interesting, very intriguing, and I really want to understand what was it and what is it. So you started working at Pernod Ricard in Russia and Eastern Europe as a marketing director. You did a stellar career. Man, it was stellar. You went to the HQ level and you occupied the position I never heard existed in any other company, the director of luxury and creativity. Exactly.
It was the first and the last one.
Okay, that's already something I really want to know about. And then in 2017, you are starting your entrepreneurship journey. So you are launching your own creative agency, branding agency. I don't know how to put it in the right way. Then you're launching your own spirits brand. Then you're launching, you're a co-founder of a blockchain payment system.
Yeah.
And now you were just telling me that you're launching marketplace. Wow, that's pretty amazing. And throughout all these years, there is one theme that is a cornerstone of everything that you do. It's art. And we're meeting together in Dubai. And a couple of days ago, you had the presentation of your book, Art Thinking. So, man, what is your mission?
My personal mission, my professional mission.
Your personal mission.
Well, I think that partly the idea about the book is really to bring Marcel Duchamp to the world of business. I think that is partly what I tried to do with art thinking. So it's really one of the things that, for example, is missing at INSEAD and any other business school is that they completely disregard the importance of culture, and I think that this is a big missing point. I think that art and culture are absolutely fundamental for humans, absolutely fundamental for human life. And I think that some of the best people, best marketers, best entrepreneurs that I met in my life, they're actually not because they graduated from top business schools or whatever, but because they had higher than average cultural knowledge. And and I think that you look at Steve Jobs, for example. In his memoirs, he says that if it was not for his study as artist and learning calligraphy and things like this, he wouldn't have developed the idea for Apple and for iPhone, etc., etc. So I think that there is a huge missed opportunity, and I think that in general, if we talk about mission such big things. I really believe that, and I think it is shared by many people, that this system in which we live requires a reboot in terms of, the ways of doing things and the value system and all of that. When we, at least when I studied at INSEAD, the mantra that we heard was increasing shareholder value. That was repeated and repeated and repeated, etc., etc. But today, I think that we all realize that in the world of limited resources, we cannot grow forever. And this is just one of the elements of, so how do you create value without quantitative growth? And this is something, for example, that artists have been thinking already for a long time. Artists, but also philosophers, sociologists, and all of that. And so one of the elements I mentioned in the book is how we can, go from a simple quantitative value creation to a much more qualitative value creation. So this is just one of the elements. But all in all, what art thinking means is actually learning from artists and learning and taking from them not the visuals, but something what I call non-aesthetic inspiration, having non-aesthetic inspiration. So learning from the ways of working, the processes, the value systems, the principles, all of that of artists, and then bringing that back to the world of business. So that is, if you wish, the the big intellectual contribution of the book. It also talks about, the importance of brands and companies becoming cultural agents, and I really believe that in today's reality, a high quality aspirational brand absolutely have to become a cultural agent in order to develop brand desirability and being desired by people, and this is really a must. It's not little thing, nice to have, etc. It's not about that. It's really and what I call cultural agent is a company or a brand that brings something with a cause, beyond the transactional value, so beyond a bag, beyond a car, beyond a bottle of vodka or whatever, and bringing something, enriching our culture.
Can you give an particular example?
So in the book, I actually share a lot of examples of brands. I mean, let's talk from something that is very well known. How, for example, Louis Vuitton has changed the landscape of art in Paris. And in Europe, the addition of Louis Vuitton Foundation has completely changed the scene. Some of the best exhibitions now happening in Paris. They happen in Fondation Louis Vuitton, and people go there. Regular people that maybe those that would never buy Louis Vuitton as a product, or even like myself, maybe I'm not a big fan of the brand itself, but I'm becoming a fan because of what they do in the world of art. I think another incredible brand is BMW. Mm-hmm. BMW has been for more than 50 years engaged in the world of art. It all started when they bought the first they made the first commission with Gerhard Richter, who is one of the kind of icons in German contemporary art, and it was first the commission to decorate their office. So this is for me not an act of cultural agency, but since then, little by little, they started, supporting institutions, supporting both commercial and non-commercial institutions of the world of art. They are one of the leading partners of Art Basel, of Frieze. Even 2 days ago, I visited Abu Dhabi Art Fair, and I was driven as a VIP invitee of the fair by their fantastic car. But this is again not an act of cultural agency. What creates them and makes them a cultural agent is, for example, when they do something that actually goes beyond their customers. So they do many cultural events that touch non-customers of BMW. They organized, I think this summer, they organized in London and Berlin fantastic concerts and some artistic kind of performances that touched 20,000 people. And each time when they do, even during the sponsorship of Art Basel, they do create something which is absolutely fantastic and not very connected to the product. So it's this act of generosity that the brand does. They support art prizes, for example, where there is no name of BMW. So the #1 art prize in Germany is actually made possible because of BMW. They even, their design bureau produced the, the trophy. But it's not written nowhere that it's BMW. It's not in the name of the prize, etc. And this is very, very important, I think, as an act of cultural agency to support artists, to support institutions, and really bring something also to the wider audiences. They did an incredible, just last Art Basel, they did an incredible performative installation. They commissioned S. Devlin, a British performance artist, and it was a fantastic dance inside of a cube with water. Poetic. You see, I have goosebumps. It's really, really something strong. I was like almost crying when I saw this. And the only link to the brand in that performance was actually water, because they wanted, indirectly talk about the hydrogen, technology that they're using as a new type of energy, and so water is the origin of hydrogen. That's it, So this is very smart. And if you look, there is on YouTube, there is a fantastic video of various people from the world of art and culture all around the world celebrating BMW's 50 years of art engagement. When you look at that, you're like, wow. I mean, that is the brand which is respected by the world of art, by the cultural leaders all around the world, in Asia, in Europe, in the US, everywhere. And this is incredible. And the third example I can give, which is maybe not on the luxury scale, but it's a brand called Illy. Yes, it's a coffee company that was started by Ferenc Illy in the beginning of the 20th century, and since the beginning they understood the importance of art. And for example, he commissioned as early as 1936, he commissioned an artist who was the student of Kandinsky, and Ferenc Illy understood the main principle of Bauhaus, which was how can we bring beauty and aesthetics and all of these kind of artistic thoughts into a very pragmatic everyday life situation. So they were doing, for example, some of the first advertisements done by artists in 30s, right? No. And then they started 30-something years ago, they started Illy art collection, what they call. Basically, it's the cups, the coffee cups done by various artists, and they do it every year. And some of the best names have done these cups, like Michelangelo Pistoletto or Marina Abramovic, etc. So, but again, this wouldn't be just the act of cultural agency. It's part of engagement with the world of art. But they support Venice Biennale, for example, and within Biennale they support sometimes incredible creation, artistic creation. I still remember, even though it was almost 10 years ago, what Anish Kapoor did during Venice Biennale, his Ascension project. It was basically in the middle of a church. There was this kind of smoke that would be ascending to the kind of central cupola of an incredible cathedral there, and stunning. No, Illy. I even didn't know that Illy was behind this. So I think these are some of the examples, and then of course like Prada. Prada is. I have a lot of respect for what Prada is doing in the world of art. I haven't met personally Miuccia Prada, but I cite her quite extensively in the book. I think that we share so much things in common. I hope she listens to your podcast. So, Miuccia, I am ready. But each time, like her interview in FT or somewhere, it's and she understands really what the role of art for her, for brands. One time ago she said, I don't want to be a collector, I want to be the part of shaping culture. And that is that is for me this kind of very very important posture of bringing something to the culture. And I think she understands so well the idea of art thinking, because she hired one of the very important artists today, whom I actually talk about extensively in the book, called Theaster Gates, and he's on the board of Prada.
Okay.
Right? So really, especially as far as sustainability and inclusivity is concerned, two very important topics today for any brand, but for Prada in particular. And so he's bringing some of these ideas to the brand. And because one thing that people need to understand, especially the business people, that artist is not just the one who is doing a painting and all of that. Artists, they have incredible capability of understanding the world in which we live, and then regurgitating that in a very powerful, visionary way. Artists are almost like the antennas that on the social body. They feel, in French we say signaux faibles, the kind of these weak signals. They capture them, and then they bring it back to the world through their art. And I think that oftentimes I tell brands, why do you invest so much money into some stupid marketing research, which is dead by the time it is published or delivered to the client? Rather invest maybe a day or two working with some artists, museum directors, curators, and you would understand better than quicker, more cost efficiently. You would understand what is going on socially, geographically, economically, etc., etc. It's and by the way, once BMW commissioned Oliver Ellison to think about the car of the future.
Mm-hmm.
And the report that Ellison created was obligatory to all the employees involved in car design and conceptualizing, etc. So all the engineers, all the car constructors, etc. So for me, this is a pure art thinking approach. When you take the thoughts of the artists and then you embed them into product design, into not just taking a beautiful image of Oliver Ellison and you put it on the car. This is easy to communicate, of course, but by doing that, you benefit only for 5% of the power of art. So I don't know if I answered your question through a long kind of ode to art, but going back and summarizing, I think that my mission with this book, and I think with a lot of projects that I'm leading entrepreneurially, is to show how art and culture can create value, how art and culture can contribute to a better world. And and brands who engage with the world of art, they making the world better. Brands have such a power today. It's unbelievable. And so instead of just developing the materiality and greed and consumerism, brands could bring meaning. And I think that if it is the case, then the world could be a little bit better and more meaningful.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I really believe in that. And I hope that, whoever reads the book and they would become part of the movement. And so for me, it's a manifesto. It's a manifesto of a new business philosophy.
Okay. Vadim, I have a proposal. Let's take a time machine, because I really want to understand how you got
to
that. Exactly. So can you guide me a little bit through your, let's say, first 20 years of life? Where have you born? What were your parents? How it shaped you?
I think, I recently read, I think in FT, if I'm not mistaken, but doesn't matter, a very interesting thought that in order to have success in life, in order to also enjoy life and understand life throughout our physical life of a human being, we need to change at least a couple of times, to change completely what we do, how we do, and to change the domain of work and your interests, etc. And I think that when I was reading, I was laughing because I did not a couple of times, but I think I did like 3 or 4 times. So well, I'm born in Baku, in a very kind of multinational context at the time, half Armenian, half Russian, living in Azeri city and going to a Jewish school. So that was kind of
In a Jew school.
Yeah, it was because it was the best school in the city.
Wow.
So I mean, it was not a religious school, but every single teacher, apart from two who were Armenian, they were of kind of I don't know. At least they were related to the Jewish tradition. Let's put it this way. We had, for example, matzah at school for some holidays, etc. So it was in the Soviet Union. So that, and I think that it's so. This is something that I think is quite interesting, and that's why I felt very very at home at INSEAD, because everybody comes from somewhere else, and nobody gives shit about where you come from, who are you, etc. The more diverse, the better it is, and as we know, the world that we believed in 2000 that everything would become completely borderless, in fact, is going into completely other direction.
Exactly.
And that's why I am enjoying particularly my stay now in the Emirates, because I find that there is this feeling that you used to have in Switzerland, for example, of a certain neutrality, of certain openness to cultures, to people coming from various places and all of that. So anyway, that is if you wish, my background. And my father was an engineer, and my mother was also an engineer, but much more artistically inclined. I was pushed to read books and every day, so I couldn't, for example, go and play with kids if I don't read a chapter or something. That was a bit of a punishment, but I think it developed my love for books and reading. And when people sometimes ask or comment, they say, "Oh, you cannot make people or children, push too much on them." I think it's total bullshit. I think that all education is violence. All education is violence, because this is. Education is about getting to know something that you don't know, right? It's being open to something new, discovering something. And this is oftentimes you need to suffer a little bit, because we don't want to discover. This is not in the human nature, naturally wanting new things. People are happy with what they have, and they try to protect. They try to protect, and especially in terms of knowledge. And I've seen this again and again. And I can tell you another anecdote from an INSEAD person who is unfortunately in prison nowadays, Ruben Vardanian. But remind me to tell this story. And so. So that was my background, and at a certain point in 1989 there were Armenian pogroms, and then we were evacuated by KGB plane. My father and I, because my father was a quite important inventor. And so we were saved by KGB, and we were brought from Baku directly to Moscow, and that's where I did 6 years of rocket science and robotics at the best engineering school there. And so I come
Rocket science.
literally, and nowadays it seems like an important profession. But
the thing is, I studied at the same university, but a few years later, and from rocket science to business to art,
that's exactly some of the changes that I was undergoing, and I think especially at the time, I really wanted to work with creativity but earn money, and of course for me it was marketing, and and that's how I ended up at INSEAD. I wanted to do a business school, to change from engineering to kind of more marketing side. Actually, I won at the time a very interesting award from US Congress called Muskie or something. Not Elon Musk, but there was a Muskie award. It was basically, they would pay all your kind of tuition and travel and everything if you go to some schools in the US. And I won that. But I didn't like the schools. I mean, probably it was a crazy decision. I think today I wouldn't dare to refuse, because it was at that time $100,000 the grant, and for 2 years tuition, paying your apartment, computer, books, I don't know, whatever it is, and they gave, I think one was number 20 that they proposed me, Notre Dame University, something like this, and then another one in Columbia. But I was so arrogant. I said, no, I want only Wharton or UCLA. I think I wanted, and so I refused that.
Wow.
And because nobody promised me anything, but then that's how I ended up at INSEAD. And there I was, even though at INSEAD you cannot specialize, but I was specializing by the choice of the courses and also by doing my projects. And so I was doing kind of interesting projects related to fashion, to spirits. My big project was with Diesel, the fashion company. And I was supposed to work there, and it was fascinating, especially at the time when Diesel was very kind of desired brand and very smart and interesting and ironic. So voila, I think that's the first part of my life. But then I met Rustam Tariko at INSEAD. I was, I think, the youngest marketing director of the brand. And then very quickly, I came to Pernod Ricard, where I was also the youngest marketing director of the whole group. And I think nobody has ever beaten that. I was at 29. I was so scared at the interview. They said, "How old are you?" I was like, "Next year, 30." Because saying something 20 something, and especially it was a big, quite big position,
But look, I'm sorry to cut you off here, but again, you were so young, you were so ambitious, and you're becoming quite successful in everything that you did. What do you think was the characteristics why you succeeded? Because it's really fascinating if you think about it.
I think.
How old are you when you started INSEAD?
25.
25. It's also quite young.
At that time, I think I was in the class. I was probably the youngest or the second youngest of the whole promo.
How?
And I was making fun of all my friends who were like 4 years older or 5 years older. I was like, "Oh my God, you are so old," and etc. So
I was 31 when I did INSEAD, so you would bully me if we were the same year.
I'm still making fun of like my friend Vincent Butler, who is one of of the top executives at Deloitte in Paris, and I still, but nowadays 5 years is like nothing.
Yes.
But at that time it was, but I still making fun of him. Anyway, so I think that first of all, it is it's quite banal what I will say, but it is being passionate. So first of all, to know what you want. I had very early on in my life, I visualized what would make me happy. And I was going to that direction quite early on.
What would make you happy? What was the vision?
Well, at the time, I remember like when I was, I don't know, maybe 13, 14, I was like dreaming of, working in a big company abroad and working with beautiful products. That was at the time and I think that this and then I wanted to become artist, and then of course your dreams can change with the time, but I think it is very important to visualize the moment, the future moments of happiness. Like you visualize the context, the situation where you think you would be very, very happy. And the earlier you do that, the better it is, because you construct your path without wasting time. And that was and I saw so many in so many instances how people, because they were kind of going into different directions and all of that. And I think this is, yes, it's good to explore all of that, but, sometimes it is also wasting time. And time is very precious. And I think that I'm not saying let's not experiment, and I changed many things, but each time it was according to a certain vision that I wanted. And that's what I tell my kids or the students that I teach, is that please try to visualize your future moments of happiness. That will save you a lot of trouble and a lot of wastage. So that's one thing. Another one, I think it is really being driven by the passion, not by the money. I think that a lot of people think, oh, I need to earn more. For me, this is like secondary. That should be the result of the efforts that you are doing, not the goal. And your goal should be, okay, I would like to create something new, or I would like to bring something new to the world, or I would like to create a fantastic brand, or or a company or a startup that brings this and that to the public, to the audience, etc., etc. And but not, this book. I could become famous. Potentially, I could earn some money on the back of the book. Do I think about that? No. I would like to write this book because I believe in the cause. I believe in this new business philosophy, and I would like to share that with the people. That is what is driving me. Not okay. Let's hope that there is some financial result or something, etc. And I think that it was always the case. When I came to work at Pernod, I lost 30% of my salary.
Because you were transferring from consultant?
No, from Russian Standard.
From Russian Standard, okay.
Yeah, my salary was 30% higher. I went to a less salary, and people were saying, you are stupid, all of that. So I think this kind of idea of understanding where you would like to be, and then for you these financial decisions and all of that, then it doesn't matter. You know, if you know that you longer term it will bring you closer to your dream. And for me, I have not regretted any of the choices. The same with the Muskie. When I refused the Muskie grant at the time, when my father would be earning, I don't know, maybe $30 a month, you know, you refuse $100,000 at that time. You know, that's a huge decision. I was like, wow, do I do, etc. But in the end, it paid off, and I'm very, very happy I didn't go there, and I ended up at INSEAD. It's you know, and today I live in France because of that. You know, the country that I really love and adore, and which is my new motherland. So and with whom I share a lot of values and love and passion for culture, for example. I mean, I hope people have seen how amazing was the Olympic Games opening thing, and how deeply it was touching on all the cultural elements, you know, even though it was like a celebration of sports and all of that. So I think, yes, first division of your future happy moments, passion, focus on passion rather than financial outcome. And I think also the communication capability. I think that you know, being connecting with people, being with the people. I always I spend more time being interested in the people in my team rather than my bosses. The fact that we are sitting together is a good example. Some of the people from my past have become my close friends. You know, people on my team, and it was in various jobs that I've done. Everywhere there were people on my teams that are, you know, I finished working 15 years ago or 10 years or 20 years ago. I still have some of these people in my life as important people. And I think that always I had that support. And I think that oftentimes people do wrong. They do this they pay much more attention to your hierarchical superior, but then in fact, in reality, you get much less support.
Okay.
Energetically, idea-wise, creatively, etc. You feel less strong. And to survive 15 years in Pernod Ricard, you know, despite of everything, yeah, it's quite a nice challenge. So I think, yes, these 3-4 elements, I think, and they're quite applicable to any situation, I think. Yeah.
Vadim, so 15 years in Pernod Ricard, again, very non-conventional career, a very non-conventional role as director of creativity and luxury. And then you stop the whole thing and you go to entrepreneurship. How? And why?
Well, I think that at some point it was you know, maybe I got tired of the corporate situation. Maybe they got tired of me each time being irreverent, not complying completely to put me into a little box.
The corporate box, yeah.
And you know, but I think it was a fantastic experience for me. I learned a lot. And I also, each time I created my own job. you know, there or now, or it's always, and I think this is another interesting lesson that I think that we all can create our jobs.
I like it.
We can reshape it, we can shape it, we can, you know, give the dimension. And I think we shouldn't be scared of that, because once again, your employer, once they see that you are doing passionately some of the things, etc., you will be succeeding in these things, and you will be bringing value to the business. There will be much better results, etc., etc. So in the end, it's like very beneficial to you personally, because it's more self-realization and all of that, but also for the business. And if the business doesn't understand, well, change the employer. So I think that is. That would be my advice. But anyway, so yeah, it's kind of happened organically. It's not like.
In one day you decided to. That's it. I'm starting.
Yeah, I think it happened organically, because I dreamed of, again, of the situation where I would have more freedom, you know. But you know, did I see exactly what I would be doing, etc.? Never. But you imagine your moment of happiness in a certain situation, and then somehow the life also, you listen to life and you listen to people around you, and then you develop. And so it somehow brought me in contact with the people who helped me develop the brands or businesses, or, you know, some ideas, etc. So I think that yeah, now I have been involved in so many interesting projects, you know, first doing my consultancy, and I still do consult brands and companies on creative strategy, on artistic direction, on brand creation, you know. I helped launch olive oil and wine brands, and you know, sake, and I don't know, whatever. I did big repositioning projects for you know, hospitality companies such as well, Evian Resort. Believe it or not, they have Danone Group has.
The water, Evian.
Exactly, they have a fantastic resort in Evian, the city of the town of Evian, with you know, 5-star hotel, 4-star hotel, Michelin restaurants, casinos, etc., etc. So, and I did the full repositioning of that thing. Actually, also with my former colleague from the corporate job.
Okay.
So, and then Azulik, which is an incredible project also of. For those who don't know, Azulik is one of the first eco-luxury resorts, and I have been for years consulting the founder and the owner of Azulik, Roth, or Eduardo. It's a number one, believe it or not, number one Instagram account in the world.
Wow.
In terms of hospitality. Okay. Number one. There's no Jumeirah, no, you know, Dorchester, nothing. 2.5 million followers. And so again, it was like the whole brand, the whole work was about brand positioning and kind of engagement also with the world of art. Azulik has has built 2 fantastic museums in Tulum, and it was part of the brand development and all of that. And they also started an art prize. So you know, things like this. But then I also like teaching. I regularly teach at INSEAD, at Sorbonne, at you know, some other business schools. I'm doing now already, I think, for the third year. Participate in the training for Cartier, for training their people working with high jewelry. So it's about understanding the what is behind the super rich of this world. So it's like very interesting projects, and on top of that, I do I co-founded 10th Muse, the really beautiful vodka brand from Scotland, which is born from Jupiter Artland. It's a fantastic sculpture park based in Edinburgh. And everything there is infused with art thinking. So, in a sense that I put the money where the mouth is. So it's written ex Muse, but it's pronounced 10th Muse. And in antiquity, there were only 9 muses, and the 10th muse represented the kind of combination of all the 9, and bringing the power and the beauty of all the 9 sisters. And that's why we say you can find this perfection and balance in our vodka. But beyond that, it's also referring to the history of alchemy. And the 10th muse represented Pallas Athena, the goddess of wisdom. And also it is referring to a sculpture at Jupiter Artland in the sculpture park of Ian Hamilton Finlay. And this is the bust, or the portrait, marble portrait of Sappho, one of the greatest poetess of antiquity. And Plato called her 10th muse because she was beyond perfection. So you see, like our name, the shape of the bottle is inspired by the work of Charles Jenks. It's an American artist and architect. And it's a huge, beautiful artwork that frames ancient aquifer from which we take our water. And this inspired the shape of the bottle. But then the whole ideology of the brand, the product, it's all linked with art. It's the first blended barley vodka. And the whole idea of going down to the specific varieties of barley, has never been done before, and kind of was very, very interesting work. I was working during 3 years with Heriot-Watt University. It's the only university in the world that has distillation faculty. Okay. So it's that's why I say the Scottish are real. They understand in alcohol. And then we were launched during Freeze, which is the leading art fair in London. And we do a lot of activation in the world of art. For example, we have been the only brand that has a permanent pop-up bar during the opening. So it's really kind of pop-up bar, but that existed during all the time of the opening ceremony of Venice Biennale this year. And 2 years ago, we invent fantastic artist-inspired cocktails, etc., etc. So this is just to show how we try, even with a small brand like this, we try to bring the idea of art thinking to the DNA of the brand, but also to every element of its execution and all of that. So, and then, yes, I'm one of the partners of Luno, which is another startup based in Berlin. It's a very interesting company that allows luxury brands accept crypto, but without dealing with the volatility of crypto. So it's basically a client comes and pays with a wallet. And there is an instantaneous exchange from, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum or some stable coins into fiat money. And and that's where my rocket science came back to life. If you wish. And no, it's fascinating. I'm fascinated by blockchain technology, and I think this is like really interesting. And Luno, unlike some similar services, is one of the few companies who provides it both for physical stores, because we have our own payment terminal hardware, and this is the most beautiful payment terminal, I think, and often people refer to it like this, and online. So it's kind of, and now, yes, I'm in the midst of launching another very curious project, again, that brings some elements of technology, but also my love for art, and it is called Art as Life. It will be a marketplace that brings together beautiful functional objects, basically design objects, but that are developed by artists. And and so this is we're currently in the launch period. We're targeting London, Paris, and Dubai as kind of key focus cities. So it's, yes, and the mission of Art as Life is something also quite interesting, kind of linked to what I talk about. Because we would like to bring art to everyday life. That is our brand name is almost the shortened version of the mission that we would like to do. I just noticed that, for example, at the at big art fairs, we have so many people coming. Like for example, Art Basel, there is around 100,000 people coming to each edition, approximately, and out of them only, let's say, 200 people that buy art there. So what about other people that have money, that have understanding of art, that have cosmopolitan outlook, etc.? So maybe we can offer them something that is
bridging the gap.
Exactly, more affordable, but does not require a huge investment, etc. But you can embellish your dinner table, or your bedroom, or your bathroom, or your yoga room, or whatever it is, with some of these objects.
Amazing. Vadim, I think we can do another session for 1 hour.
Oh.
So let's keep it when you will when you will launch this new project that you've just been talking about. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your amazing life lessons and great thoughts about how to think about the world today. Thank you for your time.
Well, you're welcome, and anything you need, and I hope that what I wrote here for you is that I hope that culture will always be in your life and in the life of the people who will watch all of that.
Perfect. And to everybody, Vadim's book is coming live in spring.
In the spring 2025, and you can go to the website of the book, which is basically Our Thinking in one word .co.uk, and you can read for whom it is. You can read some synopsis, some structure of the book, get the idea, and register for it, because we will do the first run will be not a huge run. So if you would like to have your book, better to register.
Perfect. We will. Thank you so much, Vadim.